Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. I haven't said so yet in a video, so I wanted to start off by saying happy holidays. I hope that everyone's having a wonderful holiday season, whatever you're celebrating, Hanukkah, Christmas, something else. I hope you're happy. I hope your family's happy, healthy, and you're having fun. Now, we sort of got what we wanted. Hashtag scrap the cap. That was the goal, to scrap the Phoenix Feather, mkraan Crystal, and mkraan Shard cap of 3,000 owned capacity. They sort of gave that to us about, I don't know, a week ago with the Holiday Deadpool, Holiday Gwenpool sort of mini update, where they released an update or sort of a patch that bumped up the owned capacity, as you can see, to 6,000. And how much I have right now, I have almost 5,000 feathers. This is a pretty accurate representation of literally, how should I put this, playing Marvel Future Fight normally, like a normie. I have not been ignoring any of the feather missions. I have all of the feather missions unlocked. I'm talking about like Mutual Enemy, Beginning of the Chaos, etc. I'm playing all of them every single day. I'm playing, you know, Veiled Secret. I'm playing the Big Twin. And I'm also not... Here's the important part. I am not refreshing... Well, are you kidding me? I am going to refresh this one, but on the days where my world boss is any of the mutant ones, I'm not refreshing it. And I can prove it to you by you looking at my Conqueror level. It's going up. I played Apocalypse yesterday. A couple days ago, I played Scarlet Witch. I played Quicksilver. It's going up because I'm actually playing these stages and I'm unlocking these challenges. So the amount of feathers that I have is probably an accurate representation of a player who is collecting, you know, as many feathers as they can without, you know, trying to go for the absolute limit. I mean, I'm not refreshing my boss. I'm not re-rolling my world boss of the day to get mutant world bosses. I'm not going that far, but I am getting all of the Conqueror rewards and all of the drops and everything, and I still haven't hit the cap yet, which is good. Now, is 6,000 enough? That's really the question now. Is 6,000 enough? Have we achieved our goal? The first part of this video is 6,000 enough? And then the next part of the video, the next question I have for you is almost more important, so you definitely want to stick around for that question. But, like, taking a look at this now and thinking about whether this is worth the, you know, worth it or not. Is this good enough for players at 6,000 Phoenix Feathers, 6,000 Crystals, and 6,000 mkraan Shards? Well, the first question I had was, how much does it cost to rank up pretty much the most popular mutant in the game all the way to 6 stars? Because I remember that was one of the big problems that I had when I originally unlocked Jean Grey in May of 2017, is that I couldn't actually get her to 6 stars in one shot. I ran out of materials halfway through, and I had to go into the store, and I had to throw cash, because I was trying to get her unlocked as soon as possible. I wanted to show all the viewers and all the YouTube people, I wanted to show them just how good she was, so I had to get her unlocked ASAP, so I was throwing around a few $100s, no lie, just to get the Phoenix Feathers and the mkraan Crystals to get her to 6 stars. And of course, that's part of the monetization for Marvel Future Fight. That's what they want you to do if you desperately want the character for you know, for the first day. If you want the character for free or without spending that money, you're gonna have to wait days or weeks or possibly months. And that's sort of the most fundamental thing about mobile games. If you want it right away, you're gonna have to pay. If you wait, you know, your wallet is not going to cry out in anger and suffering. But looking at the numbers here, it takes 4,400 Phoenix Feathers and 1,350 mkraan Crystals to get Jean Grey all the way up to 6 stars. So if you were to hit the new cap, hypothetically, if you were to have maxed out Phoenix Feather and maxed out mkraan Crystals, not only could you completely 6-star Jean Grey, but with the extra 1,600 Phoenix Feathers, you could probably get her gears to 20 or very close. Now, of course, that is at the mercy of RNG, so I can't guarantee that's the case, but you should be able to instantly max and start working on the potential for Jean Grey to then get her to tier 3 in one day, as long as you start off with max feathers and max mkraan Crystals. So I went ahead and crunched the numbers on how much it would cost to do 100% potential to get a character like Jean Grey or Apocalypse to level 70, because that's the other important thing to figure out. We now know that 6,000 cap will be enough if you go all the way up to the cap, or almost all the way up to the cap, to get a Jean Grey or an Apocalypse or a Strife or a Cable all the way up to 6 stars from basically 0, from 1 star just freshly unlocked. You only need 4,400 Phoenix Feathers. I mean, I say only, but I'm just saying. And you need 1,350 mkraan crystals. Then, of course, you need thousands of vials, and you need tens of millions of gold. But what about the potential? Because for the longest time, I mean, people gamble on the potential as well. They do the 10% method for characters, but on top of doing the 10% method for characters for other resources, i.e. just black antimatter and chaos nornstones, because they want to save, they also basically feel like they have to do it for mkraan crystals and phoenix feathers, because even if you go to 100% via the old caps of 3,000, you would not have enough to get these characters maxed out. So take a character like Kitty Pryde. With the old system, you would, once you get to a high enough max level, like 68 to 70, you would not have enough mkraan crystals and phoenix feathers, because it would be more than 3,000, and it is more than 3,000 for each with the old cap of 3,000. So I'll throw up the numbers here. These are for characters like I said, Cable, Jean Grey, Strife, and Apocalypse. Those are the only double cost mutants in the game right now. But seeing those costs, seeing that the rank 5 100% potential one-shot costs 4,550 feathers or 3,705 mkraan crystals, I calculated that if you use the 100% potential method at rank 1, 2, and 5, and then you use all feathers, 100% feathers, for ranks 3 and 4, getting the character, 60 to 62, 62 to 64, etc. That would be like rank 1, rank 2. If you do that specific method, you will be able to spend, like I said, 5,000 feathers and just over 5,084 mkraan crystals. And you can also guarantee to get a character like Jean Grey or Apocalypse or Strife or Cable to 100% potential to level 70 without having to farm more, as long as you start that quest off with maximum or even non-maximum. You can be 1,000 below the cap. So with all of that information being said, I'm just giving you guys the information, and now I'm asking you the question: is the cap of 6,000 enough? We can basically do anything in the game to one character as long as we are at the cap, but there is still a cap. And that does mean that if in the future they introduce multiple mutants, that might not be enough, because even though the cost to upgrade a mutant's potential that's not native tier 2 is half of the cost of the ones that I've been saying, I've been purposely choosing the more expensive ones, the Jean Greys. But let's say they come out with an update that introduces a character like Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Kitty Pryde at the same time, let's say. I'll end up needing to spend as many feathers to get them both up to potential if I want to use the 100% method, because a double character costs double. So you can see here that at rank 3, it costs me 827 feathers. For Jean Grey, it costs 1,667. So that's a little bit more than double 800. But if there's 2 characters, even if they're single cost, that is double. That is the same as Jean Grey. So if there's 3 characters, then you don't have enough materials anymore. So yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of weird that we were doing the hashtag scrap the cap, and we got we doubled the capacity, which when I look at the numbers, when I look at the cost of things, it seems like it's enough. But then at the same time, we were trying to scrap the cap, and we know that they can scrap the cap because we're allowed to keep as much black antimatter as we want, and we're allowed to keep as much chaos nornstones as we want. So yeah, this kind of enters into tricky territory here, because on the one hand, you want to get the thing that's going to make the game enjoyable, and you want to get the thing that's going to eliminate the problems that the game was having. So one of the problems that the game was having is that we had zero incentive and zero reason to play game modes that gave us Phoenix Feathers, the world bosses, the danger rooms, because the cap was so low, and we were always at the cap. We were always hitting that 3,000 cap. Now you'll have half as much incentive to skip those game modes, or you'll have twice as much incentive to play those game modes because they doubled the cap. But what happens when you hit 6,000 now? You'll still have that non-incentive to play those world bosses unless you really want their Odin's Blessings. That's a possibility, but otherwise you're throwing away these materials when you could be collecting black antimatter and chaos nornstones. And some people might say, well, you don't really need any more. You've got 50,000 of each. But some players don't want to be inefficient. So what do we say to those players? Sorry, just tough luck? I don't really know. The other question that I have revolves around what happens when we get an update with a lot of new characters like this, or a lot of uniforms. For example, we got, you know, Cable's uniform, Lady Deadpool's uniform. Both of those uniforms cost feathers. Apocalypse uniform cost feathers. The cost of 3 uniforms that are that expensive, that can easily add up to more than 6,000 Phoenix feathers. But then on the other hand, you have the situation of, okay, we were trying to fix this problem. We kind of fixed it. Maybe it's not fixed the way that everyone wanted it to be, but it's definitely a lot better than it was before. 6,000 is really good compared to 3,000, which is not good enough at all. Should we be satisfied with what we have, and should we now try to focus the devs to fix something else? Or should we keep, you know, should you keep hammering down the nail after it seems like it's in place? Or should you move on to another nail? I don't know. That's kind of the question that I have for you guys. The other question I have revolves around boxes, because the other problem that we had in the game was that once you hit the cap, the game will constantly stop you from opening up world boss booty boxes, danger room boxes, etc., and it will say that one of your items is at the maximum. Do you want to go to your inventory? And you basically have to go here, and you have to do this, and you have to sell one in order to make space, in order to open the box. And then you open the box, and it's more mkraan shards. So you have to go back to the inventory, and you have to sell it again. Hopefully, Marvel Future Fight has fixed that problem already, and if not, even if they don't move the cap up higher than 6,000, I really hope they change that specific problem, because I think most of all, that problem is still going to piss off a lot of players to have to constantly do inventory management because we're at the cap for X-Men materials and we don't have anything to spend them on. Lastly, the last question that I want to leave you guys with is basically, what's next? I sort of already alluded to and foreshadowed this question earlier in the video, but if you feel as though 6,000 is a reasonable enough cap, you know, Marvel Future Fight still has an opportunity to make some money from players who desperately want to rank up a ton of mutants because they love the X-Men, but it gives the grinding players a much larger cap space to work with. 6,000, like I said, is enough to do a lot in the game for individual characters. You can max them out in one shot, even the most expensive characters. So is it enough? Like, have we achieved our goal? And then if the answer is yes, where do we go from here? What's the next goal? Try to think of something that is going to benefit the entire community as much as possible, and try to think of something that's not just blatant greed. Like, oh, we need Netmarble to raise the daily crystals to 500, because 25 is not enough. We need at least 250 crystals per day, every day. You know, we should all get a free CTP selector every month, which is originally what I had said when I thought this was a one-off situation. But now, 5 months later, realizing that it's something that they're going to be doing regularly, I do feel kind of dumb for asking for a CTP selector, because it would have been insane to give everyone a CTP selector every single month. So yeah, sometimes you need a little bit of perspective on your demands. Let's try to make demands that are constructive and helpful and are going to improve the quality of the game, not just give us more free stuff. That's not really the goal of these types of hashtags or sort of, you know, community movements. The goal is not to just be greedy and selfish. The goal is to, you know, how can we make this game better so that in a year, 2 years, 3 years, we're like, damn, this feels even better to play than ever. So let me know what you guys think. Scrap the cap. Did we win? Did we succeed or not? What's next? You decide. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.